What if I told you that Green Lantern might not be the cinematic disaster everyone makes it out to be? Yeah, I know. Sounds insane, right? This is the movie that Ryan Reynolds himself roasts harder than the internet ever could. CGI suit, meme-worthy. Box office, flatlined. But here's the thing. Are we hating on the movie or the memory of it? Because let's be real, most people trash Green Lantern without even remembering what actually happened in it. It's like this universal joke we all agreed on, but did it really deserve to be the punchline of the superhero genre? In this video, we're going back. We're cracking open that glowing green ring and digging through the messy, wild, maybe not so terrible legacy of one of the most hated comic book movies ever made. And trust me, by the end, you might just change your mind. So let's talk about how Green Lantern became a walking meme. Before the movie even had time to breathe, it got roasted harder than a DC versus Marvel Twitter thread. And let's be honest, some of it was well-deserved. That CGI suit looked like the VFX team ran out of time and just said, glow it and go. The floating mask? Bro, it looked like it was pasted on in Microsoft Paint. Then came Ryan Reynolds. The man basically built an entire career post-Green Lantern by clowning on Green Lantern. From Deadpool jokes to interviews where he calls it a massive failure, he didn't just distance himself. He nuked the bridge behind him with a flamethrower made of sarcasm. And when the lead actor becomes the loudest hater, you don't really stand a chance in public opinion. But here's the wild part. Most people never actually rewatched the movie. The internet told them it sucked, so they locked it away in the same trash bin as Catwoman and Fantastic Four, the 2015 one, not the kind of fun early 2000s version. It became the easy answer to every worst superhero movie question. It didn't help that the memes spread faster than the movie's own marketing. Reddit threads, endless reaction videos. It's been dragged more times than a DC release date. Over time, Green Lantern stopped being a film and started being a cautionary tale. But here's a spicy thought. What if the meme killed the movie, not the other way around? What if Green Lantern just became the unlucky scapegoat of a time when comic book movies were exploding and expectations were sky high? Stick with me, because coming up, we're talking about the actual problems this movie had. Not just the memes, but the real reasons why it struggled to find its place. Okay, let's not kid ourselves. Green Lantern had real issues. Like, painfully real. First off, the pacing. This movie jumps from Hal Jordan being a cocky test pilot to suddenly wielding the most powerful weapon in the universe, like it's just another Tuesday. There's barely any buildup, no tension, no real sense of transformation. One second he's flirting with Blake Lively, the next, he's on planet Oeo with a glowing green suit, Whiplash. Then there's the villain, Hector Hammond. Bro looked like if Megamind and a toe had a baby. He's supposed to be this terrifying, tragic psychic monster, but the movie never fully commits to him being a threat. And don't even get me started on Parallax. That thing looked like a cloud of fart gas with daddy issues. Zero charisma, zero menace. Just floating, gooey chaos. The dialogue, flat. Like someone fed a robot the script for Iron Man and said, make it worse. It's filled with exposition dumps, awkward one-liners, and zero real emotional depth. You never feel like anything's at stake. You're just kinda watching stuff happen without feeling it. And for a movie that should have been cosmic and epic, it somehow feels small. Like they had the whole Green Lantern Corps at their fingertips, but the movie barely scratched the surface. We get a quick training montage, Sinestro looks cool for 5 seconds, and then, boom, it's back to Earth for the final boss fight that ends in underwhelming CGI chaos. The budget was there, the cast was decent, the lore, super rich. But it felt like the movie just didn't know what it wanted to be. Serious space opera or cheeky superhero flick. And that identity crisis, it killed the vibe before it even got started. But here's where things get interesting, because for all those problems, there's actually a lot this movie did get right. And that's coming up next. All right, time for a hot take. Green Lantern had some bangers hidden in the chaos. Let's start with the world building. We got introduced to the Green Lantern Corps, the Guardians, Planet Oe, and the entire concept of willpower versus fear as cosmic forces. That's actually a crazy cool setup. We're talking Star Wars level mythos, if it had been explored properly. Like, imagine a whole trilogy diving into the emotional spectrum and the different lantern colors. There's so much potential here that just got left on the table. And speaking of Sinestro, Mark Strong nailed that role. The guy was born to play him. He had the presence, the edge, the leadership vibe. He legit looked like the future main villain of a franchise. That post-credits yellow ring tease? Chills. If the sequel had happened and actually let him go, full Sinestro Corpse War, oh man, we'd be having a very different conversation right now. Also, give some credit to the ambition. Back in 2011, there weren't a ton of space-based superhero movies. Marvel hadn't even released Guardians of the Galaxy yet. Green Lantern tried to go big, cosmic, and visually insane before it was cool. Was the execution perfect? Not even close. But the idea was bold. And look, Ryan Reynolds wasn't bad. Like, at all. The man brought charisma. The script didn't do him any favors, but the bones of a good Hal Jordan were there. He just needed a better director. So, yeah, there's good stuff here. It's buried under bad choices, but if you dig a little, you'll see a movie that was trying to be great. It just tripped over its own ambition. Next up, let's talk about how time and superhero fatigue might have given Green Lantern an unfair shot. Here's a question. Would Green Lantern have hit different if it came out 5 years later? Think about it. In 2011, the superhero genre was still figuring itself out. Marvel was just starting to cook. We had Iron Man and Thor, but no Avengers yet. DC, they were in full identity crisis mode. There wasn't a shared universe plan, no roadmap, just vibes. So Green Lantern drops with this big, weird cosmic story, and people were like, what is this? But fast forward just a few years, and Marvel drops Guardians of the Galaxy, a space opera with a talking raccoon, and we all ate it up like it was the MCU's best dish. The difference? Marvel had earned our trust. Green Lantern didn't get that luxury. It was a leap into something unfamiliar at a time when audiences weren't ready for green space cops and fear demons shaped like brown gas clouds. And let's be real, we've seen worse since then. Morbius, the Dark Phoenix movie, that weird New Mutants release that felt like it got emailed to theaters by accident. By comparison, Green Lantern feels less like a train wreck and more like a missed opportunity. And then there's superhero fatigue. In today's landscape, a mid-tier comic book movie is just background noise. But in 2011, that mid-tier hit different. It stood out more. And if you stood out for the wrong reasons, the internet never let you forget it. So maybe Green Lantern didn't age poorly. Maybe the genre just outgrew its growing pains. And this movie was one of them. But now that we've looked at both the good and the bad, it's time to answer the big question. Was Green Lantern really that bad? Honestly, yes. But also, not really. Let me explain. From a pure execution standpoint, yeah, the CGI was rough, the script felt first drafty, the villains were weak, the pacing was weird, and it wasted a mountain of potential. But does that make it unwatchable? No. There's a weird, scrappy charm buried underneath. Watching it now feels like digging through a box of old comics. A little dusty, kinda confusing, but you still find moments that make you smile. The bones of a great science fiction superhero film are in there. It just needed more time in the oven, better direction, and honestly, a tighter vision. And in hindsight, it's kinda fascinating. Green Lantern dropped right before superhero movies exploded into cinematic universes, post-credit scenes, and crossovers galore. It was ahead of its time, but also stuck in the past, trying to be Iron Man and Star Wars all at once. And that just didn't work. That said, Ryan Reynolds did what he could. You can tell he was trying. And let's be real, if this movie didn't flop, we might not have gotten Deadpool. So, in a weird twist of fate, Green Lantern kinda gave us one of the greatest comic book movies ever. That's wild. So, no, Green Lantern isn't the worst superhero movie ever made. It's not great, but it's not the cinematic train wreck people love to pretend it is. It's a flawed swing at something bold, and for that, I kinda respect it. What do you think? Disaster or just misunderstood? Drop your take in the comments. And hey, if you like this breakdown, hit like and subscribe for more pop culture deep dives.